Mr. Thomas, come on up.
We have a report dated November 12th. Return.
What's wrong with your leg, Mr. Thomas?
I was in a car accident.
That's why he has to go to the doctor 3 times a week at this point, and he can be able to go to jail.
You driving the car in the accident?
Yes,
He was rear-ended.
I don't think he's supposed to be driving. You're not supposed to be driving. We're in the car accident.
and the paper saying that my license was valid.
You signed an affidavit promising me not to drive. Now you're driving. Now you get into a car accident. Did you have a breath test device in your
Yes.
car?
Yes. I had the portable.
No. Anytime you were to drive, you're supposed to have an interlock in your car. He is driving and he's not supposed to be driving and he doesn't even have an interlock in the car.
Device that the court had.
You're supposed to have an interlock in a car, Mr. Thomas. I'm taking you into custody today. The other thing that I'm going to do, Mr. Thomas, is that you will now be required to pay the $6,500 fee to DPS. And if you fail to pay it, every $100 you owe, you will sit in jail. $100. You're now going, how much are court costs in this case? From now on, you are not my problem anymore. This DWI is going to go on your record. This now makes 2. What happens on your next one? 2 to 10 in the penitentiary. Apparently, everything that we've done with you here was not enough to get your attention. I ordered you not to drive any vehicle that didn't have an interlock. I had you sign an affidavit promising me not to drive until you had court approval and you had an interlock in your car and you drove. You are now in an accident. You are lucky that I'm going to even follow this deal. But as a part of this deal, I want you to understand you will now be required to pay all fines, fees, court costs associated with this case. And like I said, if you fail to pay even 1 iota, every $100 that you owe, you will sit 1 day in jail. You are now going to owe to the tune of around $7,000. And if you fail to pay it, every $100 is a day in jail. So you can now calculate how much you will sit in custody if you fail to pay this fee. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
At some point, we now need to reach you to tell you what you're doing is not okay because you keep and continue to do and violate court orders. Like I said, I will issue the capias on this case if you fail to pay, number 1. Number 2, you're not my problem anymore because you will be facing prison time from now on. So I truly hope that you get the fact that if you ever have any kind of substance in your body, any smell of anything funky, and you get pulled over. Have you been to the penitentiary before?
So,
How many times have you been to the penitentiary? You now are a 15 to life case if you pick up another DWI because they can use your prior pen trip to enhance you to a 15 to life if you ever pick up another DWI. Do you understand?
yeah,
You are giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, you can never change this or undo this. I'm now going to sentence you to 30 days in jail. How much credit does he have? He has 1 day credit. 4 days credit, or look it up. 4 days?
Yes.
Okay, 4 days credit. You will be required to pay all fines and fees and court costs. I am suspending your license. I am suspending your license for 2 years. Do not drive. Do you understand? I don't care what is going on in your life. I don't care where you have to go. I don't care what you have to do. You get into a car and drive, you're going to be back here with me. And I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what are the fines and fees and costs? You now owe $6,440 that you're going to pay. How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a second offense? I will find you guilty. I will sentence you to it. Goes with you. Oh. Is it true that you had a prior DWI in here in 2021? Is it true that you had a prior aggravated assault of a family member
Yes.
in 2023? I think it's only the first one because he's doing 30 days. So just do the first enhancement.
Okay.
All right. It goes with you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to American Courts. I want to start off by saying hey to Nan. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations. Congratulations on that wrench today, Nan. You deserve it. You do a great job, and we really appreciate you. KK has a great voice. KK has a podcast, everybody. Y'all need to go and download Spotify and listen to it. I hate to say I had to download Spotify. It had been so long since I'd used it, so she did a great podcast. I really enjoyed it, and it looks like Linus had got a hold of it too. So y'all need to go check it out. We got Judge Boyd, Judge Webster, and we got Judge Simpson follow up, a landlord one from last week where the woman was real mouthy and she said she was here to fight. Well, Judge Simpson let her see what she's got to bring it. So we're going to jump into that one, and then we'll jump into the others. We're going to do another court addict tonight. I think we're going to get to the point where we do that every night. So we got to figure all that out. So thank you, everybody, for sticking in with us. And we're going to jump to Judge Simpson.
Morning. Morning, Your Honor. Jim Kurji, PA 320 on behalf of the plaintiff, Gil Sanford.
Your name?
Susie Norman.
All right. And where are we on this case? Well, good.
So, Your Honor, I submitted a motion for summary disposition. And that there's no genuine issue back here on this non-payment.
Did you get a copy?
I did via email.
Are you going to respond to that?
I have my response was a case that I had opened. It's supposed to go under Judge Barr. That was my response. And I came to the courthouse and wanted to file what I could. And the girl said there was a note on my case that said, Judge Barr, I guess Judge Barr, I don't know. Someone wrote a note that you were going to look at that today and use that as my
Okay, great.
counter,
Well,
since the cases were of the same people.
have you vacated the premises or no?
I have not. As you know, I have my job offer in Seattle, and I'm here because I'm still here in the city because I have to appear in person. So, and just trying to wrap this up.
So in regard to your motion for summary, why wouldn't I consider what she has filed in the other case as creating a genuine issue of material fact?
So, Your Honor, one moment. The crux of that case is that her property didn't have a certificate of occupancy. That was just brought to light recently as, I guess, a separate claim. Rent was ordered to be placed on escrow by the court. Rent has not been, only 1 month of 3 months rent has been placed on escrow with the court. In my motion.
Right, but if there's no certificate, if there's no COC, how does your client even charge rent?
So, Your Honor, my client has been in touch with the city of Pittsfield and has been arranging to get the COC.
The city of Ipsy?
Pittsfield Township.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, but how does he charge rent if he doesn't have a COC?
So, Your Honor, this is not a, we're not claiming rent. We're not claiming money damages for rent. We're just claiming for the possession.
I don't know what that means.
This is not a claim for money damages. It's just a claim to return the property. At some point, some rent is due because Ms. Norman remains in possession of the property.
But there's no COC.
Your Honor, the COC expired in March of this year. According to my client, the city of Pittsfield has told him they're shorthanded on building inspectors. That's why he didn't receive a notice. He's been in touch with them to try and get the COC sorted out. The number of things pointed out on the violations of the other case are things such as a permit for electrical outlets, permit for a water heater. There's no complaints in that inspection report of items that are not working. It's items that are not up to code.
Is there anything under the Pittsfield ordinance that extends it?
Say again.
Is there anything under the Pittsfield ordinance that extends the COC?
Not that I'm aware of,
There isn't.
but I have no control over them administering their duties as far as issuing those.
Do you have the prior COC?
I don't, but I don't have it on me, Your Honor. But if you would like, Your Honor, I have a ledger based on the payments that were submitted in her other case.
Okay, but you have to get past the legal issue of how can if his certificate of compliance is expired, how does he charge rent?
Your Honor, so I believe that the rent being questioned would be the rent moving forward from the time in which that was brought to our attention. But that's correct, Your Honor.
From the time it's brought to your attention.
Yeah, from the time the issue's raised.
Pardon?
From the time the issue's raised, Your Honor. She signed the lease. She's made payments as if there were a COC. Turns out there's no COC. We're not asking for.
From May through today, how do you charge rent if there's no COC?
I believe my client's in a position where he can't charge rent, or that rent would be disputed.
That what?
That rent would be disputed, and it's being disputed in the other case she has raised.
Right.
Right.
I don't understand what you're saying. You filed a landlord-tenant case seeking non-payment of rent. Right?
Seeking possession of the property for now.
Seeking non-payment of rent. Right?
Correct, John.
You can't, under what theory can your client charge rent? if he has no certificate of compliance?
Your Honor, I don't have a theory right now as to a legal theory as to how he can do that. I have,
Well, then how are you going to go forth on this case?
the other option, Your Honor, is to do.
We would all agree that in order to charge rent or to rent property in Pittsfield, you have to have a certificate of compliance, right? We're all in agreement on that. He has no certificate of compliance. So how does he charge rent?
So, Your Honor, I think the answer would be that he can't charge rent until he gets a certificate of compliance. Or see,
Okay. So it expired in March. The rent you're claiming she owes is for a period after March through today. And from that period after March into today, he doesn't have a certificate of compliance. So how does one evict?
so Your Honor, we could go through with a 30-day notice, but my client has been undergoing efforts to obtain that COC. It's not as if he has just ignored the issue. He's made efforts to correct it, and he would like to correct it. The problem with correcting it right now is that Ms. Norman is in possession of the property, and he can't make repairs, or has attempted to make repairs, and been told
Has he attempted to make repairs?
that is.
I have tried to make repairs. There's been 4 times when I have sent a appointment to go over there, make repairs, and she has refused me to enter to make those repairs. So I can't make the repairs.
When is the township going over?
What's that?
When is the township coming in to inspect?
Well, they are claiming that they're come back in November 2nd or something. But
Then counsel, if that's the case, why am I hearing this now? You have no legal theory upon which you can proceed. The other case is now my case, so I'm just going to consider it as a counter to this case. So why am I hearing it today if your client has no COC?
Your Honor, I heard it first at the last hearing, so I may have a moment to confer with my client.
Why?
Not sure that's what.
Roll that one. Was stop. Right.
Thank you, Your Honor. We can agree to dismiss this at this time and move forward with under a different process as we try and as my client attempts to obtain a COC. The court feels that that's the best thing to do at this time.
I'm just trying to figure out how you're going to proceed. I think part of Ms. Norman's claim is that she's owed money.
So Ms. Norman has been in possession of the property the whole time under a lease agreement. Now, that lease agreement has an issue with the COC.
She cannot legally do because he doesn't have a COC.
So without more investigation into the COC and why that wasn't issued or what the issues are with the COC, I can't speak to the matter at this time. I've looked at the inspection report that was provided in the other case, and the items on the inspection report didn't appear to be items that would be interfering with the daily use of the premises.
You do understand this isn't about habitability.
Correct, Your Honor.
Well, they made an inspection and made this report, and they have another inspection lined up for the November 2nd. But if she won't let me go in to make repairs, I told the building department, because we're in the middle of an eviction, that I want to delay that till she lets me in. Will you make an order to?
Your Honor, I think he's saying until he believed he would get possession back and then finish the permitting of the boiler and whatever was on the inspection report.
When are you gonna let him in?
The problem with me letting him in, the first time, well, he comes over unannounced, and I've asked him not to do that. I've asked him to contact.
Okay,
me
Miss
via
Norman,
email.
give me a date that you're gonna let him in.
He give you a date when he could come in and repair, or when? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. My bad.
Isn't that what I said?
Is that what you said?
Yes. That's what I said.
I don't have a problem with him coming in. I have a problem with him cornering me off, asking me when I'm getting out of there when this case is ongoing. He's done that twice. That's why I have a police report on my other case, because he just popped up unannounced, asking me when I'm gonna pay the rent, flashing the water bill. I talked to Cindy at the Pittsfield Township every time we have a court date, and he has me paying it. He's suing me for the water bill. I just let them know that I will, if whatever the ruling is, I will let them know if I have to pay it or if I have to pay him and he's gonna pay it. I don't have, so that's the only problem. He comes unannounced and he starts asking me when I'm paying the rent, when I'm putting stuff in escrow, when I'm doing this, when I'm doing that, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. So if he needs, and I know that the city has had, he said that they were backed up and couldn't come. I called them and they came for me to inspect it.
Okay. So I don't know why neither of you want to answer my question.
As I don't have a problem with him coming and doing his repairs, if that's what.
So what day can he come in?
Whatever. I mean, he can give me a day. He's all over like, we've done this before, and it's like, you have to ask him. I will make it.
Okay, so what day do you want to go do the repairs?
I cannot say that it's gonna be all in one day. There are several.
Okay, so what day do you want to start doing the repairs?
I will start, later this week. I will come in,
That,
Thursday or Friday. Either that.
Emily, if I said to you, give me a date for a case, would you just give me any date and just an approximation? No? Because that's not what I asked, right? Yeah. So.
All right.
Glad we got it straight, because I was trying to figure out if that's how it worked. Yes,
I will do the work next week. Between Monday and Friday, I will,
So what day are you gonna, geez, oh, Pete? Just,
Monday.
what is Monday, Emily?
But I will also, if I need to be in there other days. There's drywall repair that needs to be done. That cannot be done in one trip. I need to have inspectors lined up and scheduled to come in for their process. And I don't know what their schedule is and when I can get an inspection for them. It's not a one-day repair to get these things done.
Oh, no, I've seen the pictures. I realize it's gonna be more than a day. So you're gonna go in, start repairs on the 28th. Question mark, right?
Monday, the 28th. I will plan on going in and doing all the repairs I can that day. There will be other issues that still need to be addressed with
You guys.
the building department.
Okay.
Sorry.
When are you leaving? That was also a question.
I am leaving as soon as I don't have to come back to court anymore. I mean, can we do it in Zoom in Seattle? I just can't move from there to another spot and then to Seattle. The only reason I'm still here is because this case is still going. And the reason I'm here is
Okay,
seeing the pictures.
so
I mean, is this case going to be done after today? Is it going to be completed, finished?
at the rate you guys are going, really? Okay, so here's what I'm gonna suggest. Can you guys talk to each other civilly? Without me?
I
Don't think so.
certainly think I can.
Your Honor, so, this case resolves itself with possession.
What?
This case resolves itself with possession. Should Ms. Norman have be moving to, or going to Seattle?
Except counsel. You're charging rent. You just told me it was 19,000 that you want from her.
Your Honor, what we want is possession. We haven't claimed, there's been no claim for money judgment.
So you're gonna waive rent?
No.
Okay.
Well, in this case, we're not asking for rent.
Wait,
We're-
Your Honor, my client agrees to waive rent.
Okay, well, would you agree to release the escrow to me so he can get possession, I can go, and the case can be done today?
Wow.
As much as I like to be in this courtroom, this is my eighth.
Oh, I liked it until this morning.
What?
Look, here's what we're gonna do. You're waiving rent. You're waiving any claim for monetary damages.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yes.
And when are you gonna leave?
10 days? Or less?
Perfect.
Mr. Kurji said perfect. I'm not trying to stress you out, Judge.
You are not stressing me out.
Okay,
Trust
good,
me.
Good.
Trust me. I got a lot more. I got a lot of
Okay.
other things that stress me
All
out.
right.
This is not one of them.
Oh. There's the bright spot.
Okay, so what are we doing? You waived your claim for rent. You're moving when?
10 days or less, and I can take the keys.
Jeez, so Pete, give me a date. Just give me a date that you're going to leave.
What is the date today? The 22nd? October 31st.
It was the 22nd. It's probably the
October
25th by now.
October 30th.
What? October 30th. Will that work?
That worked, Your Honor.
Do I need to get this repairs done next week? Or that's, can be done after she moves out?
Write up a conditional order of dismissal, waiving all claims for rent money. You can put both case numbers on it because if there's no claims for money, then that would resolve your other case, would it not? Amazing how I do this. Write up a conditional order of dismissal, look it over. She's going to leave on the 30th. And then come back and I'll sign it. All right, I'll pass the matter so you can write that up.
All right, thank you.
Come back with
Today. Oh, no, you guys are not leaving.
in escrow.
What about it?
I'd like to have that.
Okay, if they've waived all claims for money, what do you think happens to escrow?
I don't assume anything. In nursing, we don't assume it. I can't assume it in your courtroom, sir. As long as it's written on the conditional dismissal, then fine. Can't assume anything. I don't know the law language. I don't know it.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
aware.
I know. You can
I'm aware.
the 8 times I've been here.
What?
I said, I know you probably gathered that the 8 times I've been here.
It's only been 8? Seems like 50. All right, go out, write that up. Escrow goes back to defendant, plaintiff on the other case, and then we can be done with this.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Hey, do me a favor. Keep an eye on them because that's going to blow up. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to blow up. All right. Okay, this is fine, except that how much is the water bill?
I know that it's at least 1,100. The last bill that came
It
out.
was 1,500. It was 1,500 when I walked in.
It's 1,100. It's 1,100. And because of the leaks in the house, I'm having that evaluated. But that's how much it is now because they bill every 3 months.
So when's the next billing?
Well, the billing is, I know, actually it's set up on quarterly. I believe it is. I'm not exactly sure.
You got the bill and came over and waved it in my face. You should know.
Was that really necessary? Was it necessary?
No,
Was it necessary?
no.
Then don't let it happen again. Okay. You're agreeing to pay the water bill, whatever it is, to the 31st. You can call the water company and you can get it so that the 31st is a date they can tell you how much you owe. Okay?
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
So here's what I'm going to do. I will release the escrow to the defendant, but I really don't want you guys back. So I'm going to hold the escrow until I can get a final water bill. Then pay the water bill to the plaintiff. The balance will be returned to the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't understand.
Okay. Let's say the water bill comes up by the end of this month being 1,500. Okay, that's what I heard. All right. Let's say it's 1,500. They will get to me that final water bill. Right. And then what I would do is I would send them the 1,500 as though you're paying it, and then release the rest of the escrow to you.
Okay, we'll have to wait till the 30th. Yep. I have to
Till
get
you
the bill
move.
for the 31st.
Pardon?
I have to get the bill through the 31st or through now. And you just take the money out of that and pay that bill.
You need a reading as of the 31st. Whatever that reading is, the water company will go through, they'll figure out what's owed through the 31st of October. That amount will be deducted from the escrow and will go to the plaintiff, right, to Mr. Stanford. The remaining part of that escrow will then be paid to you. Anybody unclear as to that?
Makes sense to me.
I'm clear, but
But what?
I don't think they just, never mind.
You don't think they just what?
Never mind. They must read it at the building. Yeah.
We'll call.
Get a final reading as of the 31st. Otherwise, what's going to happen is I'm going to just wait till the next bill comes out in 2 months. I'll prorate it myself.
Here, we'll fix that water.
I'm just going to add to this that the escrow is to be released after presentation, final water bill. So what I'm going to do, folks, is this. This resolves this case. And what I have here is that plaintiff is waiving any claim for rent. Defendant agrees to return possession to the plaintiff's owner before October 31st, 2024. Escrows to be released to the defendant. The defendant, however, agrees to pay the water bill through October 31st, 2024. I've added language that escrows will be released after presentation of final water bill to the court. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, but I could use that escrow for moving.
Yes.
I have 5 people to move.
Okay, so you don't want to agree to that? When is the water bill going to be paid then?
Pay it out of the escrow, of 1058. That'll take care of what's due now. That was due on the 2nd.
Then what do we do with the period from that 2nd through the 31st? You realize, ma'am, that water bill becomes a lien on the premises if it's not paid.
I do.
Okay, so it's somehow or another, it's going to need to be paid.
That last portion I will pay. That last portion from the 2nd to the 31st.
You guys figure out what you want to do because the money's there. I've told them to get a bill. You don't want to do it that way. I can't sign this conditional order dismissal. I don't know why you two can't come to some type of rational understanding of how this is going to be done. If you guys want to sit in here all day and fight it out, fight it out. Court's in recess.
All right.
You guys work out. Let's try it again for the 3rd time. Stanford versus Norman.
Norman and I have, we've come to a clarification on the consent order. Plaintiff is going to waive any claim to rent. Defendant agrees to return possession on or before the 31st of October, 2024. Plaintiff and defendant agreed to split the $3,300 escrow in the following way. Plaintiff is to receive $1,500, the defendant is to receive $1,800.
Plaintiff gets $1,500.
Defendant shall receive $1,800.
Did you write that up? Norman, is this your understanding?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any questions regarding anything contained on this conditional order dismissal?
I don't have any questions regarding that. I do feel like I'll be back to see though. For
Why?
damages, but
For damages.
yeah. But
Underlying which in,
I understand that and I signed it and there it is.
well, but that's going to get rid of this case also. That's why I had you put both case numbers on. I was trying to resolve all these cases. So is that your understanding, ma'am?
Yes.
Just going to add a provision on here that case ending in 3728 is dismissed. All right, you do have 3 business days to think about this. If you have any, if there's any legal reason, any misunderstanding, any non-assertion of rights in this matter, you'd have to file a motion with the court. That doesn't mean that I would grant the motion. However, you do have those 3 business days. You understand that, ma'am?
I do.
Case ending in 2445 is conditionally dismissed, and I've signed the order. You can pick up a copy up front. The other matter is dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Hey, everybody. Today, Judge Kirkham had an odd one, and I was able to record it and get it set up. I wasn't able to finish it up for tonight, but I want to throw it up here now. There's some odd topics in it. Be careful on the comments and stuff on the last little part of it. It starts talking about kids. It's a custody issue and with CPS versus the court's rights. And so check this one out, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Athena, please unmute. Can you hear me, Athena?
Yes, I can.
Calling case 2024-1372 DC, Zachary Conley versus Athena Couch. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2024 at 9:19 a.m.
Court will note the appearance of Mr. Kelly on behalf of the plaintiff. This matter is before the court on the plaintiff's motion to enforce parenting time order. Mr. Kelly.
Your Honor, very quickly, very briefly, this court entered an order in June. My client had every other weekend parenting time and midweek parenting time. He was exercising that all the way up until the weekend of August 16th, which he received. Thereafter, defendant has not allowed overnight parenting time over the weekend, so he's missed 4 weekends up to date. He missed his parenting time on the 4th, 11th, and 18th. Midweek parenting time, he has had some midweek parenting time since then. However, there have been a number of occasions where she's either shown up late or simply has no-showed. And when she's shown up late, she's oddly enough picked him up right on time. We're requesting makeup parenting time for the 4 weekends, Your Honor, and for the midweek parenting times he's had. I think an appropriate remedy would be parenting time to start this weekend, which would be his upcoming weekend, and allow him to keep the children for the following week through the following Sunday for his makeup parenting time. This is the second time we've had to address this issue before the court. There's clearly a court order in place. We're required to file this motion to get this enforced, to get parenting time started. We're requesting attorney's fees in the amount of $500. And lastly, Your Honor, we suspect that defendant is going to indicate to the court, well, dad's got some sexual deviance. He's got all these other things going on. She actually called CPS on him. They did an investigation. During that investigation, there was no suspension of parenting time. There was no safety plan put in place. And they've closed their investigation since then. We suspect this more has to do with her wanting to continue the marriage or relationship with my client. She has made intimations to that effect. And she also showed up at his grandmother's house where he lives, barging her way in and assaulting his grandmother, who ultimately ended up getting a PPO against him or against her. So we suspect it's not really about the children's safety as much as it's another issue relating to their relationship, which again has no bearing on this court's order. So again, we're requesting a week of makeup parenting time starting this Friday and attorney's fees in the amount of $500. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Couch, what's your response?
My response to that, I had consulted CPS because I had found videos of children in diapers with enemas being done to them. And that is part of a sexual fetish of Zachary Conley's. And they told me not to allow visitation if I felt that it was in the children's best interest. And I feel that that is the case.
Okay, well, in this particular case, CPS cannot violate the court orders. The court will enforce its orders in this matter until such time as it's changed. You can file a petition seeking to change the orders if you have a proper cause to do so. If not, then it won't be changed. But
I do have evidence. I'm sorry, excuse me.
yeah, don't interrupt, ma'am. So what happens if you have proper cause? You can file a motion to modify parenting time until such time as that occurs. The court will enforce its orders. And if the orders are not followed, the person violating the orders can end up in jail. So it's a choice as to what you want to do in this matter. The court will note that it states, the motion as well states that the defendant has been late for drop-off. The court will order that if in fact the plaintiff is late for drop-off of the children, then the plaintiff is entitled to the time extended at the end of the parenting time. So if she's late for 1 hour dropping him off, then he's entitled to an additional hour of parenting time to make up for that. So that will be the order. The court does note, as Mr. Kelly stated, that CPS has been involved. They've closed the case without taking action. So as a result, the court would infer from that CPS did not find any basis for proceeding, or they would have sustained and substantiated the allegations. So until they do, the court simply will enforce its orders. The court will award to Mr. Kelly the attorney fees of $500 necessitated by this motion to enforce the parenting time will be paid within 45 days of today's date. Okay.
Your Honor, in regards to the makeup parenting time, what was the court ordering?
Yes, the court will, or now when your client picks the children up on this Friday,
Yes.
court will allow him to have the children for 1 week to make up for the missed parenting time. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
No, Your Honor. I'll get
Anything else, Ms. Couch?
No. Thank
Okay,
you.
that will be the order. Mr. Kelly, you can submit under 7-day notice of entry.
Your Honor, even though it's being submitted under 7-day, can we make it clear that it is to be followed and she should show up for this Friday?
Yep. We'll put it and state that it's the orders to have immediate effect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Hey, may I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
I am trying to get somebody through legal aid. Nobody has been willing to help me. This attorney, Michael Kelly, even worked with a mediator that he had known. And the mediation didn't go any further because they thought that it wasn't.
Okay, we're not addressing mediation now on this couch. We're addressing the orders that were in place.
Because he's an attorney. I don't have anybody, and yet he has a sexual fetish that involves children.
Okay.
He was watching children.
That's the order of the court. The order will again be in
I will
effect.
be filing against the state of Michigan.
Okay, that's the order of the court, ma'am. We're going to end the hearing now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Isn't that an odd one? There we go. Computer wanted to act up there. So she was a goofball. She had everything going on indeed with her. I've seen them in that court before, and I have to believe that the judge doesn't believe her. I have to believe that something else is going on, because if anything she said was true, that's in craziness. I don't know how someone could think of something like that, but then again, I don't know how someone could do something like that. And so I'm completely lost on it. But either way, that was an odd one, and that Zachary guy there just staring there didn't help his case any, so he messed it up. Hey, look, Roland G showed up. Hey, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you there. So anyways, that's what's going on in Kirkham's courtroom. We're going to jump over to Judge Webster. It'll be, we got enough Judge Webster to go till 9 o'clock. So let's go see what happened there today.
Contreras. I don't know if I pronounced any of those names right. How do you pronounce them?
Shadeja Nicole Contreras.
Shadeja Nicole Contreras. I'll probably have to ask you that again, but it's a beautiful name. I appreciate you telling me how to pronounce it. All right, Mr. Patterson, how do you want to proceed?
Your Honor, in this case, I would announce that Ms. Contreras would be entering a plea of guilty to count 1, driving after being declared habitual violator. States agreed to dismiss count 2.
And that's your agreement, Ms. Pierce?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Contreras, how do you plead then to count 1, driving after being declared an habitual violator?
Guilty.
You're admitting that on November 19th, 2023, you were driving in Butler County and that your license was revoked at the time?
Yes,
Do you remember where you were driving when the officer stopped you?
on the interstate.
Okay, out on the Turnpike, I-35, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were driving and your license was revoked as an habitual violator, is that correct?
Yes,
Is anyone making you enter this plea by any threats or promises other than your plea agreement?
no,
Do you understand with this plea, you are giving up your right to a trial and your right to appeal conviction?
yes,
All right. I will accept your plea and find you guilty. Recommendations for sentencing?
Judge, we have discussed a 6 months controlling, 1 year non-reporting probation, a fine of $200, court costs. And I think that's all, Judge.
Mr. Patterson, anything further?
Would ask court to adopt the recommendations. I am court appointed in this case.
All right. Where do you work, Ms. Contreras?
Wichita.
Okay, this time I will sentence you to 6 months in the Butler County Jail and fine you $200, order court costs of $108. And Mr. Patterson, you said you're appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your attorney's fees will be $250. I believe that totals $558. I will grant you a 1 year reporting probation, and as long as you're successful on that, you will not have to serve the 6 months. But all standard conditions will apply, primarily 2 specific conditions. Number 1, do not violate any law during this 12 months. And get the $558 paid. How much time do you need to pay that, if any?
I have a question. Why do I have to pay $200 for a Zoom meeting?
Why do you have to pay a $200 fine?
Yeah, why do I have to pay a $200 court fine?
Well, I could give you a $2,500 fine.
Don't matter to me. But okay, that's fine.
The fine can be anywhere up to $2,500. Your status is an habitual violator. That means you have been convicted so many times in traffic A and B misdemeanors that you qualify for revocation of license for 3 years.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions about that?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I do have one more question. Is it supervised probation or is it unsupervised probation?
Well, the recommendations of the parties was 1 year, but I'm starting to get concerned about your attitude and wondering if you need supervised, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to.
Oh, ma'am, you said supervised. He said unsupervised, and then you said 1 year supervised. I don't get it. I didn't hear it.
Well, if I had meant supervised, I would have added a $60 supervision fee.
She said that.
But like I said, I'm really getting concerned that.
Well, ma'am, I'm just repeating what you said to me. If it was a mistake, then it was a mistake. But you just said supervised probation at the end. And I know everybody in this room heard it, just like I heard it.
Mr. Patterson, is that what you heard?
Judge, I would prefer a breakout room with my client if I could.
Miss Cheryl, did you hear that?
I will ask you that, Miss Cheryl, because it is not appropriate for you to talk to counsel directly other than your own. Miss Pierce, did you hear me say that supervised?
Yes, Your Honor. I heard you say reporting.
Reporting? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, but that still did not justify a response. Mr. Patterson, I'll give you just about a minute with your client.
That's all I need, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Contreras, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Your fine is again $200, court costs $108, $250 attorney fees, for a total of $558. Your sentence again is 6 months. If you do not want to serve that 6 months, you need to be successful on a 1-year non-reporting probation. Non-reporting meaning you do not see a probation officer, but you are nevertheless on probation. If you violate the law during the next year, your probation can be revoked and you can serve the 6 months. If you fail to pay the $558 in the time I tell you, your probation can be revoked and you can serve your jail sentence. You also can get a collection agent if you don't pay, and you can add more time to the revocation of your driver's license if you don't pay. Now, I am willing to work with you on that payment schedule. Can you pay the whole $558 today, or do you need some time to pay?
No, no, ma'am.
No,
what's okay.
All
you
right.
go ahead.
What I will do is give you an order that you pay at least. Will you tell me how much you want to pay? Can you pay $100 a month so that you can have this paid off in the 6 months to get your probation over?
No, I thought I had a year of probation.
So you want to make it in payments of a 12th, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will grant you 1/12. I don't usually do that on non-reporting probation. So if I have to set it out that far, I will make it reporting probation.
Here you go.
Because I need someone to monitor that and to make sure you're in compliance. So do you want to try to pay it off in 6 months, or do you want to pay it off in a year but make it reporting probation?
Ms. Contreras, do you understand what she's asking?
Yeah, I understand what she's saying.
Can you get it paid off within the 6 months?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, understand that's probably twice what I usually give folks. All right, so you'll need to make payments of about $100 a month and have that paid off in 6 months.
I don't get it.
And
I understand.
I know you understand, but your attitude is still an issue that troubles me. If you don't want to be back here before me or another judge on an issue to revoke probation, make sure you comply with the 2 terms I've given you. $100 payments until paid in full. First payment will be due November 21st, 2024. You will have a payment due the 21st day of every month thereafter until paid. So November 21st and the 21st of each month thereafter at the rate of $100 until paid. Any questions about that?
Can I ask the question?
Certainly.
I have never known a judge to set up a payment plan. But I understand what you're saying. I get it paid off before then. Thank you.
I'm transferring this to reporting probation. There will be a $60 probation fee. You will be required to report to probation as soon as this hearing is over. Go to the probation office down the hall and report. This will be a 1-year reporting probation. All standard conditions will, and they will go over those, and you will sign off on those, or you will not be given probation. You'll serve your 6 months. Your payment plan that you're not used to, I'm still going to give you the order to pay $100 a month with your first payment due on October 21st, 2024, due on the 21st of each month thereafter.
That was the whole point.
What's the whole point?
All right, thank you. Never mind.
What's the whole point?
I'm talking to the officer.
The officer isn't your legal advisor. Mr. Patterson is. The whole point is to keep you out of jail, and if I have much more problem, I'm gonna say, forget probation, let's just take her into custody and take her to jail for 6 months. Deputy, don't be doing that. Don't be muting
We
her.
didn't need to write this down. There wasn't no point in writing this down, but thank you.
I was just writing down her fines and stuff that she had, and I changed it.
Well, I know you
down
were
to
trying to help her,
$60.
deputy, but I don't think that's appropriate, so don't be doing that. Now, where are you going next?
Mhm.
Where
Down
are
the
you
street.
going?
I'm going down the street.
No, you're going down the hall to probation.
Yes, down the hall.
If you don't do that, and if you don't do what I told you to do, then you can go down to the street to the county jail. You know,
Ma'am.
you don't have yourself in that big of a predicament, but you just keep making it worse with your attitude and your responses. So I'm going to let you go now before you get yourself in any worse trouble. But you better be respectful to the folks in the court services, a lot more respectful than you've been to the court.
Understand.
Thank you. You may go.
Well, wasn't she just delightful? I think she talked herself into a lot of trouble over a damn parking or speeding ticket or driving without a license ticket or something. It's amazing what people will do to themselves. Hey, everybody, we're going to call it a night over here. We're going to jump over to Court Addict, and we're going to see you guys over there. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you over there.